Okay, so hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. As we are very, very slowly approaching Warlords of Draenor, the possibility of pretty much everyone changing a guild is very high. And I decided to make a video to give you guys a couple of tips, a couple of things that I've learned over the many, many years of playing WoW, of, basically how to find a guild, what kind of guild you should get into, and what to expect when you apply for a guild. So first of all, I would like to talk to you about what kind of a guild you should get yourself into. First of all, if you like raiding, you need a raiding guild. That's obvious. If you like PvP, you need to be a PvP guild. But today I want to talk about basically raiding guilds, okay? Now, always find a guild that basically is equal to you or higher. Okay, what that means is, if you're at this skill level, you should find a guild that has players that are at kind of the same skill level. Never go down and never be over ambitious and arrogant and go way up. Okay, if you just started raiding and you apply to method, that's not gonna work, obviously. But also the other way around, when you apply to a guild that's compared to you has no gear, they are low on the progression list, and the knowledge about the game is generally lower than yours, it's gonna be equally as bad as a new player joining method. Okay, I did this mistake in the Burning Crusade. After I finished tanking Sunwell Plateau with my warrior, I went into a guild where a couple of my friends were, and they were just about to finish Karazhan. They were stuck on Prince Malhazar. And it was the most frustrating thing in the world, okay, because at that time I was used to people trying to do their best, and those people were not trying. They couldn't be arsed to press buttons, basically, okay, and it was just straight up frustrating. So always find a guild that suits you, where you can go up, where if you, for instance, have 10 out of 14, you can go into a guild that has 12 out of 14, but don't go into a guild that can farm 14 out of 14, because that's not gonna work for you. Okay, those people have higher standards and you're not gonna meet those standards straight ahead. You're just not. Okay, so always be careful. And I'm always encouraging people to try and push higher up. And you can do that, but don't make the jump. Don't let the jump be too long, because you might fall flat on your face halfway through. Okay, so just be careful. Don't go too high up. Don't go too low. Just find a guild that's somewhere around your level. That's usually the best thing you can do. Next, very important thing is to never ever change a class, because that particular guild needs it for some reason. Okay, if you want to join a guild with a warrior and they want a priest, you should never reroll a priest. If you're having fun on your warrior and they want a priest, then you should look for another guild. Okay, I never did this. If you have a spec that might suit particular bosses more and they ask you if you could do it, that's a different thing. I healed a couple of bosses in Siege of Orgrimmar because resto druids were incredibly powerful there. But if they asked me, hey, could you maybe level up a paladin, I'd be like, fuck no. Even though I have a level 90 paladin, I'd be like, fuck no. No way. If you don't want my druid, then I will find another guild. And that's very important. Always play what you want, not what the guild wants. Okay, if some guild doesn't want you because you don't have a priest, then go find another guild that will accept you as a warrior or a rogue. Okay, now let's take a look at a list of questions and requirements you might be given when joining a guild, and there is good reasons for them. So first question would be, how old are you? And there's a reason for that. Younger people are usually not as organized as older people, and they usually don't have a schedule. When I was younger, I did not have a schedule. Right now, I'm 24, and I kinda have a schedule for the entire week. Okay, and I kinda know what I'm gonna be doing at any given time, vaguely. So that's a good thing, because when I can't attend a raid, I know it well in advance, whereas someone who's younger, who's like, oh, I'm gonna go outside today, you know, now you're not attending the raid, we're missing a raid member, what the hell. So this is why people ask about your age most of the time. Next, do you still live with your parents? Now this has something to do with age as well, because if you go to school and you live with your parents and you bring really bad grades, they might turn off your internet. Once again, you cannot attend the raid, we're missing a raid member and we need to find someone else. That's another thing. And I would always recommend to be honest. Maybe you can make up a thing or two, but if you just lie about everything and then something goes down the cock hole, where you're fucked. So it's better to be honest. Okay. Next, I want to talk about something called the trial raid, and this is something you might be asked to do with a guild before they accept you. And a trial raid is a very simple thing. Okay, they just take you with them and they're watching what you do. Okay, they don't usually care about DPS, they're expecting sort of an average, maybe below average DPS, but they're expecting you to handle all the encounters they can do as well as you can. Okay, and they're looking for specific things. Okay, if you die too many times, obviously that's bad. If they tell you to do something and you don't do it multiple times, that's bad. You're probably not gonna get into the guild. But they're also looking for things such as disconnects. Okay, if you have bad internet and you keep getting disconnected all the time and you're in a trial raid, if you disconnect like 3 times within the space of 1 trial raid, you're probably not gonna be accepted, because obviously if you've disconnected 3 times during this 1 trial raid, then you're gonna disconnect in the future as well. Okay, and that might mean the difference between a boss kill or just a wipe. Okay, so yeah, that's the thing. Another thing you should be prepared when joining a trial raid is that everyone else will have loot priority over you. Okay, so the only time you will get an item in a trial raid is when no one else can use it or no one else wants it. Okay, if there is another person and it's just a small upgrade for him and a huge upgrade for you, he's gonna get it. Because you're a trial, you're not in the guild yet, and they don't know if they should give you items. Okay, so get prepared for that, and don't get angry when you don't get items. That's really bad. Okay, that's probably the worst thing you can do, is to get really angry when they give the item to someone else while you're on your first trial raid. Okay, and you might go on to 1 trial raid, maybe 2, usually not 3, usually it's just 1, sometimes 2. Okay, so get prepared for it. Do your homework. Watch guides on the internets. And the last thing I'm gonna talk about today in this video is how do you get into a guild? How do you join a guild? How do you apply for a guild? And there is many ways to do that. Okay, the best guilds usually have a website where you can apply. Then usually either your class master or role master will check it out, they will discuss it with the guild master, and they will decide whether you are worthy of their guild or not. Now, these applications can be complicated, and I'm not gonna explain them to you. Just one little thing. Okay, you will probably be asked to post a video just for them to see if you're performing well, if you have the deeps, if you have the brains or the heals or the shields if you're a tank. So people are in 2 minds as to if you should show a video where you're cheesing and you have high DPS, or a video where you're performing really well. I tend to agree with the second group, where you should upload a video from a boss fight that requires some sort of responsibility. Okay, like kicking turtles on Tortoise, that's a great example right there. So I would definitely prefer to show Tortoise as opposed to, let's just say, Horidon, where you're just cheesing DPS on every single goddamn mob there is. Okay, so I would always prefer to show skill as opposed to, cheesed damage meter in this situation. Next, and probably the most common way, is just recruiting people in main cities in the general and trade chat. And that's just very simple. You know, usually you're asked to join a party with that person, maybe a couple other people, or you will stand in returning dummy and you will bust out a rotation. You know, they might ask you to move around for a while, but usually you can just stand still and bust a rotation. So, you know, do as much deeps as you can and hope they will accept you. And the last, and actually the one I prefer to do when I recruit people, is to make a pug raid and, you know, pick certain people that are performing very well, maybe don't have a guild, and just ask them to do maybe one more raid or LFR so you can see what they're like. And you know, if you're in a pug and someone asks you, hey, would you like to join my guild, ask them as many questions as possible. Okay, ask them as many questions as possible about the guild and do a trial raid with them so you can see what it's like to raid with them. Okay, and with that, I am done. I thank you all for watching and listening. I hope this video helped you. If you would like another one, you know, maybe you have more questions, feel free to ask in the comment section, and I will see you next time. Bye bye. Never ever reroll a different class. And so what? Stop flying on the keyboard! God damn! Go away! Go. Why you do? Stop eating the keyboard! What you do? Fucking hell! And the will you please stop eating my keyboard? That's my no, don't eat the keyboard. Hey, stop it. There's your purge. Stop eating my keyboard. Dipshit, stop eating the fucking keyboard. No, just what, you think you can run away from? Stop eating the keyboard. Stop it. I'm gonna fucking slap you, you son of a bitch. Just no. It's not good for you, you fucking idiot. Stop eating the... I'm gonna fucking cry. No. 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 Bad. Bad.